Sports Podcast, episode number 183.
Fuck you, Al.
Unnecessary for the start. Jared's pissed at Al because they're talking shit because Jared, listen, does Jared have commitment issues? I don't know. He's got a child. So he can't really commit to that child because he's already forced into that child's life. So Jared went on the Couch Guy Sports Podcast, the Yellow Card Podcast, and now these two are bickering because I guess it took Jared a long time. Listen, I was unaware of all of this, and frankly, I don't care.
I just love giving Jared shit when I
Fuck
can.
you, Al.
Jared, easy. Students
And
might
Gordon
be listening to this.
Gordon Hayward's gone, so I'm just pissed tonight.
So we've got a lot of Celtic stuff to talk about. We've got Gordon Hayward. We've got Dany Ainge. And listen, my feelings for Dany Ainge have gone up and down like the goddamn Superman at Six Flags New England, which is now Bizarro, which was, by the way, one of the dumbest moves in the history of amusement parks to change that name from Superman to Bizarro. Dumb as shit. Regardless, there's a lot of Celtic stuff to talk about. Some moves that I love, some moves that I don't love. And I know at least one of you guys were pissed. I don't know if you still are at Dany Ainge, much like I was. Because let me tell you, draft night, I was fired up. I was not happy during
There's some
draft
news
night.
there's some news that makes me feel better about Dany Ainge the last couple days.
Yeah. So we got a lot of Celtic stuff to talk about. We can even talk about some Patriots because they are right back to
Sucksville.
they were right back to what they looked like before. Listen, losing to the I don't know if anybody told the Patriots, but the Texans aren't good.
I mean,
The
they have
Texans
talent,
suck.
though. They've been playing better since they fired Billy O.B.
But
So-
they also have Deshaun Watson.
They do have Deshaun Watson, but they've also had Deshaun Watson during those 7 losses they've also had. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Cam Newton. We're going to talk about some of the hate that Cam Newton got, not only during the game, but after the game. But before we get into any of that, guys, it's time for the dump. The weekly dump. Thank you. The Bengals lose number 1 pick Joe Burrow on Sunday with a torn ACL and MCL. We're going to fire through these. Rex
RIP.
Burkhead, who was one of the bright spots of this Patriots team this year, left Sunday's game against the Texans, which again they lost, with a season-ending injury, a knee injury. We don't know what it is yet, right? It's
they're
just a knee
feeling
injury.
It's supposedly ACL.
Yeah.
It's expected to be. I didn't know if it was official yet.
I think it is.
Yeah, I think they announced it.
Yeah, I mean,
All right,
Burkhead
well, Rex-
tweeted he's out, so like,
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I knew. I knew Burke had tweeted that he was out, but I didn't know if they actually said what the official injury was.
Burkhead's a free agent this year. Who knows if he's
I
coming
know.
back?
Dude, there's a lot of free agents on this Patriots roster this year. A lot.
Hightower might be retiring. Whole new team next year.
Hightower might be retiring, which I didn't even write down in here, actually. So Dante Hightower, rumored apparently, might be retiring, which who said that? I
Same with
saw
Marcus Cannon
the
on
account.
Twitter. Yeah, I can see if I can find it, but
I saw the account, but I don't really know if it's a trustworthy account. I didn't see where this guy works. I didn't see how many followers he has, but I saw that somebody tweeted it, but I didn't recognize the name. So
the Spike King,
the Spike King, yeah, never heard of him.
not even
Could
a blue
be
check
right.
mark, only like 1,300 followers. But I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if him and Marcus Cannon both retired.
It wouldn't shock me if Dante Hightower retired. I just don't know this guy. So maybe he's right. I mean, he could be right. Listen, I was right about the Mookie Betts news. I don't have a blue check mark. So sometimes people get things right. Sometimes people got sources and they get things right early. Anyway,
I guess, who knows?
according to Mike, I always get this guy's name wrong. Is it Feinsand? I always get
Feinstein?
corrected and I always get it wrong. Feinsand?
I think it's fine.
Feinstein?
But whatever it is, his sources say that the Rays are open to trading ace Blake Snell, whose most recent newsworthy event was getting pulled by Kevin Cash. And Snell's current deal currently is wildly affordable for what this guy is. Wildly affordable. Runs through 2023. It's like $12 million, $10 million. I think it's $16 million maybe. I actually have it up. I think.
Hi, Bloom. Call the old squad, baby.
So that's the thing. If Chaim Bloom wanted to, Chaim Bloom might be able to make this move. But the thing is, the Rays are probably going to ask for a damn haul.
Well, they should. They should.
I just don't know if the Red Sox have that because I don't know if you guys remember. Dave Dombrowski came through here. and
Prospect killer. Yeah.
ripped through the Red Sox farm system. So there's not too much they could trade, but they do have some trade pieces that they could definitely deal if they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And then last, just some NBA notes. There were too many moves to list all of them, but just some notable NBA moves with the start of free agency and all these deals. Kelly Oubre headed from the Thunder to Golden State. Harry Giles, Jason Tatum's buddy, hoping he came here. He didn't. Signed a 1-year deal with the Blazers. Drew Holiday goes to the Bucks. I don't remember if we talked about that last week. I don't remember if it happened before our show, after our show. Holiday to the Bucks for literally all of the front office's first children for the Milwaukee Bucks. They gave up a haul to get Drew Holiday, which, I talked about this last week. I would have loved Drew Holiday for Boston.
Yep, 100%.
But for what Milwaukee gave up for him, suck my ass. No chance you're doing that move for Drew Holiday. No chance. That was the weekly dump. Now let's get into this part. Dany Ainge. We're going to lead off the show with Dany Ainge. Dany Ainge caught a lot of heat. And you know what? I think it was a lot more out of frustration than anything. Because, credit to us, we said this on last week's show, we all agreed. Do not get your hopes up for draft night. Because we've done this every single season since 2015. We've done this with Jimmy Butler. We've done this with Anthony Davis. There's always these hot rumors. Dany Ainge. Paul George. Dany Ainge is going to make this move. Cat. Dany Ainge is going to make whatever example you want to use move. And then the rumor gets hot. Some a-hole always tweets out, there's a lot of steam. This deal's basically done. Some asshole always tweets that out at some point during the middle of this Celtics madness. I don't even know who did it this time, but somebody was like, the Pacers and the Celtics, they basically have a deal done for Myles Turner and Dougie McBuckets for Gordon Hayward to go to Indiana.
Probably Mo Chanel.
That was Gary Washburn. That was Gary Washburn.
Was it Gary Washburn? Well, then I rescind what I
was.
said because I love Gary Washburn.
That was Gary Washburn.
Regardless, there's always somebody who tweets that out, and then you get your hopes up, and then you get ripped down during the draft. So credit to us for not getting our hopes up, even though we low-key all got our hopes up. And was it a shock when the Celtics picked at 14? No, it wasn't a shock. Are you good? Are you good with Nesmith? Are you good with that move?
Yes, absolutely.
See, I'm not a college basketball guy, so I know
that's one of the few guys that I would have been okay with to fit the need. Nick, he will literally be off the bench like Tyler Herro this year. He will be off the bench shooting threes. He's like he went like 90 for 100 at practice once. Like, dude's a marksman.
And not only that, here's a little stat. At Vanderbilt, he shot 52% from the outside. So that's, filling a need that you need, which is outside shooting. And
why not 60%?
You're really asking for that much. You're not good enough with
60%.
You are unreal. You know that? You are a greedy.
What does Klay Thompson shoot?
You are a greedy SOB. Huh?
I'm not even asking for 90%, which apparently he can do because we just said 90 out of 100. Yeah, I'm not even asking for 90. I'm asking for 60.
Give me a break, will you? 52% is pretty good.
Listen, is it my fault that I just want near perfection? No, it's not my fault. That's just
it is your fault.
That's just how we roll in Boston.
Yes, it is your fault. It is 100% your fault. I still think you got the symptoms, I think, still rating on you. So I don't know.
COVID fog is real. Let me tell you.
I believe that. No, that I believe.
I'm going to give Cam Newton his credit there with that because he didn't blame his game against the Broncos due to COVID fog. He could have. COVID fog is real. There was one day I couldn't even think when I was trying to write something down. I couldn't even think. But regardless, let's not talk about my COVID problems here. So Nesmith, I'm cool with, but Dany Ainge, let's roll this in with the Gordon Hayward news too. So Gordon Hayward signs with Charlotte. There was a lot of news that he was going to go to Indiana. Charlotte comes in last minute, $120 million, 4 years. Asinine for
so stupid.
Gordon Hayward. You can have him at that rate.
For that, yeah. Well, and I think it still might be a sign and trade too because we still haven't heard anything.
Yep. So that's the thing. There's two different. I've taken my foot off the gas on being upset at Dany Ainge, but if he doesn't get a sign and trade done here with Gordon Hayward, Celtics fans have every right to be pissed. Of
course they do. Of course they do. And you look at it too. People were talking about bringing Terry Rozier back in a sign and trade. I don't know if I want Terry back.
No, thank you.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, like, no thanks. He's not going to want to sit behind Kemba, so I'm good. But it's taking so long for them to announce Gordon Hayward, and they said they didn't have the cap space initially. So this is clearly a sign and trade being worked out. But the thing that gets me is, like, you also had a sign and trade with Indy, and then the report the last couple of days has been that the Celtics and Indiana both, Celtics too in here, offered Hayward north of $100 million. He said no.
Which I would have been pissed about.
He said no, but he also said no to Indiana. So I believe Gary Washburn, because I do like Gary Washburn. I think there was a deal.
I do too. He's not an asshole. Gary Washburn is one of the best of the biz.
One of the good ones. Yeah. So, like, I legit think that there was a deal in place. They were going back and forth. Danny was probably trying to grind for more like he always does. And then MJ called and said, hey, man, 4-1-20. Want to come play under me? Great, let's do it. Who turns down MJ?
Michael.
Who turns down Michael, though?
Mr. Jordan, what are you doing?
I don't know. But the funny thing is looking at the Charlotte roster. So I'm sure you guys know this. Charlotte has to clear $19 million of cap space just to make that Hayward signing official.
Yeah, but there's something they can do. They can waive somebody. They can make it happen without it.
There's multiple ways they can do it, but the ways it's probably a sign and trade is because nothing's been announced. Like, no one's been released and nothing's been announced. So
they can release Nicholas Batum. That's been one of the rumors and everything. But there's a couple names, honestly, that you maybe can keep an eye on as young pieces, like PJ Washington. That's one name to take a look at. I mean, he's only making, I'm taking a look at the numbers right now. I think it's either 7 or 10. So PJ Washington's making $7 million. Mm-hmm. Miles Bridges, another name. I know the Celtics don't need another small forward. It's just a name to keep on the radar, right around $10 million. So those are a few names that they might try to get rid of. Again,
you don't need a small forward.
No,
you
got
your big boy signed long term now.
No, you do, and we're going to get into that. But especially PJ Washington is a name that I've been intrigued about since his college days. So it wouldn't surprise me if maybe the Celtics at least asked about it in a sign and trade with Charlotte to make that Hayward move official.
Yeah, but my question is with the sign and trade, why would Charlotte do it? And it's taking so long that I'm starting to get worried that it's not going to happen. But, like, what is Charlotte's incentive to do it? Because they don't need to.
I think it's the easiest way for them to clear cap space. Because releasing, you gotta do multiple moves if you don't do a sign and trade, whereas the sign and trade, you have to move pieces, but I think it's the easiest route. And if you're the Celtics, you get a $20 million trade exemption out of it. So you're preaching for that, because then you can use that for God knows what, whether it's, my guy Isaiah Thomas comes back or whatever you want to do with it. Like, that's the ultimate win. If Dany Ainge can get a $20 million trade exemption out of this, which it's probably something he's fighting for, that's a win. But I'm not even mad at Dany Ainge anymore, because clearly he offered him money. Like, he offered him to stay. Would it have been a little bit too much? Yes. But what I've been mad about,
I wouldn't have liked that deal.
But I wanted Gordon Hayward to stay. So, like, I'm not mad at Dany for trying. It clearly wasn't something Dany did. It's just he didn't want to be here. He wanted to be the guy. He signed on when Isaiah Thomas was the guy. So, like, clearly he just wants a big role, and he clearly doesn't care about winning because he just went for the most money.
He really did. And
now he's the guy. Like, who's the other guy there? LaMelo Ball? Like, that's Gordon Hayward's team.
Gordon Hayward and LaMelo Ball.
That's the duo.
But Boston and Charlotte.
LaMelo Ball is his too.
And Boston and Charlotte did this last year too with Kemba Walker and Terry Rozier. It was a sign and trade for both sides. So they've done it. They did it literally last year.
You bring up last year as a great point. Michael Jordan didn't want to pay Kemba Walker, but he's willing to pay this much for Gordon Hayward. Like, it
makes no sense.
Absolutely insane. MJ, I love you, dude. You're the GOAT. You're the greatest of all time, hands down to me. But, like, come on, dude.
Gordon Hayward's making $30 million. Terry Rozier's making about $18 million. Timothy Mozgov, anybody remember that signing? 4 years, $68. Anybody remember that?
You're good, Jared. They are, the way they're just tossing money like that it's asinine. To throw that at Gordon Hayward is crazy at this point in his career. Maybe coming out of, like, maybe Gordon Hayward with pre-ankle injury, sure. But, I mean, maybe that at this point would even be a little undersell. But $120 million for Gordon Hayward right now. If the Celtics made that deal, the $100 million deal for Hayward, I would not have liked it, because at this point you need size, which I get. Myles Turner is 100% overrated. I get that. I understand that. But the thing is, if you brought a guy like that in, at least you have some kind of size that you're working with underneath.
And he's a young size piece too. Like you look at the example of they brought in Tristan Thompson. Like, I love the signing for this year. Like, I think he's very underrated because he hasn't been in the public spotlight for a few years because LeBron's not there anymore.
He's a good player. I love that signing.
He's going to average over 10 rebounds a game. He's going to be body. He's going to be able to go after. He's going to swallow Bam Adebayo. He's going to go after him. Like, he's the guy that you need to play in the rest of the Eastern Conference. And look, just Tristan Thompson makes them a legit contender because that was really the only piece they really desperately needed because Gordon Hayward was extra. They have some bench pieces that can kind of shoot, and their starting five's fine. So, and now you put Tice on the bench, which is even better of a situation.
Tice is a really good bench piece.
Yeah, so now you have Tice coming off the bench alongside. You have Robert Williams who's there, Grant Williams. You just bring in this rookie kid. Jeff Teague's now on the bench too. Like, it's a solid squad the Celtics put together with 2 veteran signings.
The Tristan Thompson signing.
Kardashians coming to town, baby.
The Kardashians. Listen,
coming
I'm
to
a
town.
fan of the show. I watch the show. Not frequently anymore, but like I'm a reality TV guy. I was fine with keeping up with the Kardashians. If that was on TV, I was watching it. You stay away from Jason Tatum.
Yeah, no.
Just
Don't
stay
even
away
do it.
from the Garden. Just stay away.
No,
they'll
listen,
be there.
come watch the
Content.
Celtics. I don't care about that. Just stay away from Jason Tatum. And you know what? With that too, stay away from Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, just both.
And that's the problem. They're going to come in and they're not going to stay away from them. Then we're going to be like, see, we wanted the Kardashians here, but now they're messing everything up because that's what they do.
I mean, the Tristan Thompson thing is a good thing. Like, Kardashians aside. Now, I'm intrigued. Like, do they go after Jason Tatum? Are we going to become a Kardashians podcast because of Tristan Thompson? Like,
I'll do it.
TBD. TBD.
I'll do it.
Rebrand number 3. It'd be rebrand number 3 for this show. TBD.
Rebrand the Couch Guy Kardashians podcast. I'm in.
Do it.
I'm in.
Hot takes. Hot takes.
So, I mean, overall, listen, Dany Ainge 110% pissed people off.
Of course he did.
By not doing anything on draft night. Now, I'll give him this. I think that was more so a lot of people just hyping up the situation more than it was because we do that every single year.
Well, it's because every year, like this year, Nick, it was, oh, well, they're going to trade it for number 3. Like, they want Wiseman. Like, okay, they're not going to get Wiseman. Like, come on now. Like, he went to Golden State. He's going to be a force there. Like, you bring in a guy like Nesmith, people are going to love Nesmith because he's going to be that guy when the
Is it Nesmith or is it Nesmith?
I thought it was Nesmith. Is it Nesmith?
I think it's Nesmith. I think you're right, Jared.
He's going to be that guy who comes off the bench, like Eddie House type when they won the title, right? Just nails threes in the corner, can get open off the ball. Like, that dude is going to work, and I'm excited.
I think you're talking about the wrong guy. I think you're talking about Peyton Pritchard because that's the exact same MO that he had when he was from Oregon. So the second pick that the Celtics had.
Well, they got ideal. They're pretty much the same game. Nesmith can come off the ball and drain threes. Like, that's what he does.
Right.
Listen, if Nesmith, I like Nesmith better. If Smithy boy here can't hit 52%, then I mean, like, that's a hell of a weapon to be coming off of your bench like that. Like you said, Tyler Hero. So the Celtics were actually close to drafting Tyler Hero. I'm glad they didn't because that guy.
Oh, doucher.
Yeah, he's kind of a douche. But if you can bring in this guy like a Tyler Hero, because, I mean, Tyler Hero is talented. Nobody can deny that. If you can bring in this guy like a Tyler Hero, like, that is a hell of a weapon. And we saw that through the playoffs this year. We saw what a guy like Tyler Hero can do for your team when you need him. If you need to hit the shot, if this guy is really this much of a sharpshooter, this is perfect. This is perfect. Added size. Overall, over the past week, Danny's had a pretty good stretch.
Like, do you not realize this team on paper is better than it was last year? Like, take Gordon Hayward out of it and put the 2 you brought in, the rookies you just brought. Like, they're on paper better than they were last year.
And they can get better, especially if they get that trade exception, like we talked about earlier. They get that trade exception with Charlotte and free up the $20 million and go get another piece or 2. You're going to be even better than you are right now. And like you just said, Jared, this team on paper right now is better than it was last year. And that team made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. So
I think it's funny. You sit here, we talk about Gordon Hayward, and I'm a big Gordon Hayward guy. I still wish he stayed. But, like, you do look at the record when he's not on the court with these guys versus when he was. Like, the Celtics were pretty damn good without him on the court. Tatum, Brown, Kemba, like, those guys were fine without him. Like, you didn't desperately need – and that's partially why he wanted to leave. He didn't want to be the 4th option. So this team is good enough to win, and with the pieces you added, they're a top 3 team in the East. They filled 2 major needs. They took Tristan Thompson, who can bully down the below and be really good off the ball. Alley-oops he's really good at. And then you add a shooter in the rookie. Like, you got better.
But I still would have liked a bigger move. And that's just because I'm selfish. And that's just because I wanted those fireworks, because we've been blue balled by Dany Ainge and the Celtics team every draft for the past 5 years. I remember
people wanted fireworks when they drafted Jason Tatum too, and look how that turned out.
And people were pissed about Dany trading to number 3, which was asinine now that you look back at it. People get mad.
Asinine?
No, people got mad at Dany Ainge for moving back to the 3.
It was asinine that they got mad. Yeah, no. 100%.
Asinine that people got mad over that, because look at it now. Look at where Markelle Fultz is compared to Jason Tatum.
What did they turn that extra pick into? Or I don't remember. You know how he got like the extra pick when he traded Philly? What did they turn that pick into? Do you remember?
No, I don't.
I'll see if I can look that up real quick.
Okay. Because I know like that was a big part of it, was he knew he can get Tatum at 3 because he knew the Lakers were taking Lonzo Ball. Idiots. And
they LeVar Ball literally talked Lonzo Ball into getting drafted by the Lakers.
Yeah, 100%. Like Philly was all in on Markelle Fultz. Lakers were no doubt drafting Lonzo Ball because of his dad, and they just let Jason Tatum slip. Like Jason Tatum was one of the best players in that draft. He should have gone first overall. Like,
especially now that when you in hindsight, yeah, Jason Tatum was the best
100%.
player out of 3, 100 out of those top 3, 100%. If you could go back, Jason Tatum would be probably on the Sixers, ruining our lives.
Well, he would have been if he was the best. If he was hands down the first, like he would have gone first. And if Danny didn't think he could have got him at 3, he would have stayed at 1 and taken him because it was his guy the whole time.
Yeah, and that's another thing though that like Dany Ainge doesn't get the credit for. Like Dany Ainge sees something like that, he understands that okay, I can get this guy. It's kind of like a Bill Belichick move. I can get this guy down at this portion of the draft. So why am I going to draft here? Why don't I trade out of this pick and get more value for this pick? That's straight out of the Belichick playbook.
Yeah, I get why people are pissed at him now. Like, I get it because people want the fireworks. It's all the media hype. Like, you're talking about this trade for Indiana, and it sounds like Danny tried, and he chose Charlotte. Charlotte swooped in and gave him way too much money, and that might even go away because if he figures out a sign and trade with Charlotte, those people who are mad at him have no leg to stand on.
Right.
Because he still got his sign and trade done. It was just with a different team.
So, Jared, you were wondering about what the other half of the Tatum-Fultz trade was?
Yeah, there was a Philly pick in there. Who was that pick?
For Philly or for Boston? Because Philly gave a late first-rounder to Boston, and that
who did we take with that?
Romeo Langford.
Okay, love the pick. Even better. Makes that trade even better.
That is a solid pick.
You got Tatum and Romeo Langford for Markelle Fultz. That is a massive win. Whether you trade Romeo Langford or not, whether you trade Romeo Langford for something else because there's been teams that have been interested, or you keep him as your future point guard, which I'd rather them do. You got Romeo Langford and Jason Tatum for Markelle Fultz. That was the trade.
That's like if you're a Sixers fan, like that still should burn you. And just the balls that it took for Dany Ainge to drop from the number 1 pick to the number 3 pick. Because like if he looks at it then and he's like, damn, well, if Jason gets drafted, well, then I fucked myself, and now I'm getting stuck with this guy that I didn't want in the first place.
Yep.
Speaking of balls, guys. Speaking of balls, we talking testicles. We talking Manscaped. Guys, support for the Couch Guy Sports podcast, like it has for so long now, comes from our friends over at Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Jingle balls to the walls, fellas. Listen up. Untrimmed pubes, they're a thing of the past. You look in the history books, they're in the history books at this point. It's time to gear up and get yourself the gift of shaving this holiday season. And I am talking about Manscaped's Perfect Package 3.0. I haven't told the story in a while, but when I was younger, when I was about 13 years old, when I first got into the manscaping game, I thought that you could use scissors. Boom, I clipped my nutsack. Not exactly what you want to do when you're manscaping. That's why this revolutionary company, Manscaped, has redesigned the electric trimmer. Their Lawnmower 3.0 has proprietary advanced skin-safe technology, so this trimmer cuts your nuts. So this trimmer cuts on your nuts. I don't understand. It sounds painful, but believe me, it's not painful. It's also, there is COVID brain in here. It's also waterproof, so you guys can use it in the shower. That's the only place that I use it, and it's phenomenal. The Lawnmower 3.0 comes inside their brand new Perfect Package 3.0, which makes for the perfect gift this holiday season. It's literally everything that you need to keep trimmed, cut-free, and smelling nice down there. And don't use the same trimmer on your face as you would use on your balls, guys. That's fucking disgusting. The Manscaped Perfect Package 3.0 Also includes the crop preserver, an anti-chafing ball deodorant, and moisturizer, which I'm a frequent user of. My balls get smelly just like everybody else's balls do, and this deodorant is perfect for that, and so is the Reviver. You already put deodorant on your armpits, guys. Why are you not putting deodorant on the smelliest part of your body? And yes, your balls stink too, guaranteed. Speaking of sweaty and stinky balls, I'm thankful for their crop Reviver. This product, along with the crop preserver, keeps your balls from sweating, smelling, and sticking. And these products smell good. Their manly scent is attractive and will help set the mood, if you know what I mean. That's talking sexy time. Their perfect package will also come with a pair of Manscaped boxers that keep your junk feeling fresh all day. It's time to upgrade those overused pair of boxers to Manscaped's high-performance anti-chafing boxers. 'Tis the season of Manscaped. So get yourself, your dad, your brother, and your friends the best gift of all, the Manscaped Perfect Package 3.0. Get 20% off with free shipping with the code CouchGuy20 at manscaped.com. Your balls, they're going to thank you. Again, get 20% off with free shipping with the code CouchGuy20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com using promo code CouchGuy20. Clean up your nuts and make Santa proud this year. Promo code CouchGuy20. All right, boys. Listen. Do we want to keep talking Celtics, or do we want to move on over to Patriots?
I mean,
because there's plenty to talk about with the Patriots.
I mean, I don't want to talk about the Patriots, but we have to. So
let's do that. Last 10 minutes of the show, let's talk Patriots, huh?
Also, go Revs tonight, right?
Yeah, Revs are in the playoffs.
Playoffs, round 2.
Sure, go
Let's
Revs.
Go Revs.
Big man, you today in the Champions League win.
You go on a soccer podcast one time and then you have to bring it.
I'm a Man U guy.
Jeez.
I'm no longer lagging in the video, by the way, because I just exited out all my tabs. So you're welcome.
Thank you for actually giving us, your full undivided attention, Nicholas.
Yeah.
No, I closed up. No, I was lagging in the video. I saw that the whole time. I don't know if I was actually in the recorded video, but I wasn't mine.
You were.
Yeah, it was on our end too. So
pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome because I exited out the tabs.
Yeah, about time.
Patriots game.
Jesus.
They lose to the Texans.
Trap game.
Welcome back to Sucksville.
I don't even think it was a trap game, guys. I think that's just. No. I just think that's I think that's who this year's Patriots team is.
Yeah, I say less trap game out. I'll give you credit. You called it's gonna be a tough game, but trap game is when a really good team, a la the Chiefs, lose to the Texans. Patriots aren't a really good team anymore, so this is just the Patriots.
The Patriots are just a mediocre team.
They're not a playoff team.
Yes, but the reason that you could call it a trap game too is because they had momentum coming in, not just from the Baltimore game, but also from the Jets game where they were playing better. I'm not saying they were playing well, but they were playing better. And 9 times out of 10, I don't care, mediocre Patriots team or not, you should take care of business against the Texans, especially when they have the worst rush defense in the NFL. That's just a statistical fact. They're giving up almost 170 yards a game. And second of all, you have the second best rushing attack in the NFL. So put 2 and 2 together. Yeah. You should do something right. Something wasn't done right.
Yeah, but the reason I'm not calling it a
parlay didn't help.
No, oh my God, my parlay got fucking smoked this weekend. Listen, it was bad, man.
Bet responsibly. Listen. Bet responsibly, kids.
Listen, time out, real quick. I want to go off on this tangent.
Also, are we going to fuck Massachusetts? Is that what we're doing?
No, I'm not. Massachusetts has to. Massachusetts can screw themselves for not legalizing sports gambling. This weekend, my guy that I go through for my bets, he's out of town. So I had to text Jared. I was like, Jared, can you place these bets for me? So Jared had my bets, and the damn Falcons and Saints game. My goodness, that over was not even close. It wasn't even close. But no, this was the tangent that I wanted to go on real quick. I checked with a bunch of people, and I do this every time, and I knew this was going to happen. So this is on me. This is 100% on me. I put it out on Twitter. I texted separate people. I only make my own fantasy football moves because every time I ask other people, no fault of their own, on paper it looked like the right move. But Hayden Hurst, I was so confused on who to play between Hayden Hurst and Noah Fant this weekend. Because Noah Fant's been iffy. Hayden Hurst has been putting up decent, consistent points, right? And I was like, this Falcons-Saints game, I've got money on it. It's going to hit the over. It's going to be a high-scoring game. The over-under was 49.5. I was like, this is going to be great. You know how many points Hayden Hurst got?
still.
Nothing.
He was in one of my lineups too.
Nothing. It was the most infuriating thing to watch. And then when I turn on the Broncos game, Noah Fant's out there catching passes. Noah Fant's a better tight end, I'll say that. If he was on a better team, Noah Fant would be unreal. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, just I got to stop asking people for advice on fantasy. Because every time I do, I get dicked. Every single time. But, in fairness, Hayden Hurst looked like he would have been the better move over Noah Fant. Because Hayden Hurst, I mean, against the Saints defense is not good, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, back to it. Patriots game. The reason it's not a trap game is because the Patriots aren't that good of a football team. And I want to stop having this conversation. It's officially over for me. It's officially, even if they win another game down the line, a good game, that you look at it, like, okay,
this weekend.
If they beat the Cardinals, I'm not gonna convince myself that this is a good football team, because they're not. This defense, I don't know what the fuck happened. At the start of the season, they looked like another year of a really solid defense. Deshaun Watson tore them up this weekend. And I know Deshaun Watson's a very talented quarterback. I'm a big fan of Deshaun Watson. But the way that he tore you up after the way that this Texans team has been playing this year was pathetic. This Patriots defense is nowhere near what we thought they were at the start of the season. Nowhere near.
He was near perfect. And that's the problem. Deshaun Watson had to play a near perfect game, and that's exactly what he did. Had 2 touchdown passes, ran for another one. I said it on Sunday when I talked to people about it, and I'm going to say the same thing here. The 2 people that beat you on Sunday were Deshaun Watson and J.J. Watt for disrupting Cam Newton at the line of scrimmage with about 5 batted balls at the line of scrimmage.
The first time J.J. Watt has ever done anything against the Patriots, because usually the Patriots shut him down. Yep. And that is something I wanted to bring up too. Well, hold on. Just talking about this Patriots defense, and yeah, sure, they beat the Jets. Fine, they beat the Ravens. But we understand that they gave up 27 points to the Jets.
Yes.
They almost lost to the Jets.
They probably should have lost to the Jets if Joe Flacco doesn't throw a bonehead interception.
Right. They could have very easily lost to the Jets, very much like they could have beaten the Seahawks and the Bills. But the fact that they almost lost to the Jets, they lost to the Texans, it had to take a monsoon for them to beat the Ravens. This is not a good football team. No. This is not a good football team.
The only way that I will get excited again about this team in 2020 is if, and I know this isn't going to happen, so I'm just putting it out there. If they beat the Cardinals, if they beat the Chargers, if they beat the Rams, and then they beat the Dolphins. 4 in a row, because then they'll be at 8-6, going into the Buffalo game at Foxborough, and then you have the Jets the following week. That's the only way I'm going to be excited.
You're right. It's not going to happen.
It's not. No, and I know it's not going to happen. I'm just saying that's the only way that I'm going to get excited about this team again in 2020. Otherwise, you probably would have been better off losing that Jets game. Maybe you beat the Ravens. That's great. But then you're looking at potentially a much better draft pick in the upcoming draft. Like, winning that Jets game and winning the Ravens game now just feels like it was all for nothing. After
I look at the rest of the season now, and you get a gauge of, okay, now Bill needs to play this as okay, what do we got for next year? You play who you need to play. My guess is you keep working with Cam, because he's probably going to be your quarterback next year, unless you can
you don't have another option.
Unless you can, the 2 things that could possibly, I mean 3 maybe, if Tom Brady gets so pissed at Bruce Arians that he decides to leave.
And he comes back.
And then comes back. He goes, never mind, screw it. Dude, Bruce Arians is a dick to him.
Bruce Arians, we really didn't get a chance to talk about it on the show. Bruce Arians.
Wow.
Dude, Tom left because he was sick of his coach being an asshole.
And now he publicly is an asshole to him.
Yeah, and now, not even really like an out front asshole. Bruce Arians just being a dick.
So I'll be the guy to ask, just because I didn't see it. So what exactly did Bruce Arians say about Brady after the game last night?
He said to paraphrase, he said he must have gotten confused on the coverages because we very rarely miss deep balls at practice.
Okay.
At practice. And he very much and this happened again early in the year, and he just calls out Brady when everything goes wrong. He granted, Brady sucked last night. He wasn't Brady
good.
Was terrible. One of the worst games I've ever seen from him.
Bruce Arians publicly called out Brady twice, the greatest of all time. Brady went down there to have some fun, play his way, make it his team, get away from the hard-nosed coach who will call him out probably in meetings and behind closed doors. Bruce Arians now takes it to the media. let's all just get over the fact that we know what Brady needed Belichick. Belichick needed Brady. No one like obviously the Bucks are better, and they're still probably make the playoffs and they're a contender. But to have the success that they had, there's no way each of them could have done it without each other, and that's it. Like,
no.
That's it.
And we'll wrap it up on this.
Sam Darnold, 2021.
No, well, maybe. Cam Newton has taken a lot of crap I saw on Twitter during the game. The only negative I think that you can say about Cam Newton's play in that last game was, and I tweeted this, he gets blocked at the line like he's a 5'8" quarterback. I don't know why he can't throw this ball over the line.
He's a big dude.
He's
a big dude.
He is huge. He is the size of a middle linebacker. He should be getting that ball over the line, no problem. So I don't know what's going on there. But Cam played another really solid game. The reason that they lost this game is not Cam Newton. Cam Newton had played another really solid game. Just looking at his rating, his quarterback rating, I mean, you knock out San Francisco and Denver, and even against the Raiders, every QB rating has been over 80 at least. And his game against the Texans this week was 102. So Cam Newton's been playing really, really well.
Yeah. That's what makes me want him back next year. Unless you can get like Sam Darnold or something like that, because like the Jets get Lawrence and don't want Sammy D anymore.
Just for the future. Like not even because Sam Darnold's better than Cam, just because
it gives you a long-term plan. It gives you a long-term plan. Sam Darnold's still what, like 23? And
he's
like
young.
Can play. Like there's no question he can play. So I genuinely think that Sam Darnold might be your best option out there. But if that doesn't happen, the Jets will get other offers, and there's no chance they trade him into the division. Cam Newton is your best option next year, and Cam Newton has shown that he can have success here. He's made these receivers look pretty damn good. Jacoby Myers, Damiere Byrd, like they've all had progression this year. Even N'Keal Harry's gotten a little better. I know everyone hates him, but like he's gotten better.
Well, it's easy to get upset when you see DK Metcalf tearing it up.
Well, yeah, dude, DK Metcalf's an animal.
But it's three-cone drill.
Yeah, the Megatron of this generation. Look, Cam Newton is probably the best bet next year, and I'm okay with that because look, if Belichick has a full off season with Cam, right? If Josh McCown has a full off season, he now knows the playbook. He clearly can play well here because he's doing well. He's not turning the ball over anymore. He's got a better understanding. You get him another tight end, anybody really, and then you figure out the defense. Like we've talked about it, even without you here, Nick. Like this team was a couple quick, terrible endings away from 6-3 at one point. So this team is not that far away. They don't have to completely tear it down. It's just that this year is a lost cause because of the way the cards have fallen.
And I think for this offseason, you have a ton of money to spend this offseason. I think there was a graphic.
Like the third highest cap space.
I was just about to say, I think they have the third or fourth highest cap space. I think ESPN had it up. Third or fourth highest cap space.
And it'll be more if you kick out Hightower and like if they retire.
So that's the thing, right? They have some young pieces in place. There's three things that I would like to see them do, and I'm going to say them really quick. Number one, get a playmaking wide receiver, please. Like, get Cam Newton a good weapon. Like, he's doing good with
Jacoby Myers, man.
And Myers. But even get another receiver to make Myers your number 2 receiver. So that way, not all the pressure's on him to be a number 1 receiver. Because we don't know if he's going to be a number 1 receiver. So that's number 1. Number 2, go get a tight end. Because you need a tight end. You need a pass-catching tight end. Enough with Ryan Izzo. Unless you're going to develop Asiasi and Keene, you have to go out and get a tight end. And number 3, bolster up your defensive line. Because you have the safeties in place. You have the corners in place. So if you can take care of those 3 things, I think you're right back in contention for 2021 with all the other pieces coming back.
Get some kind of pressure on the quarterback. That's all. Just get some kind of pressure on the quarterback. My goodness.
It's disgusting. It was disgusting seeing them try to tackle Deshaun Watson.
There was no pressure. And the whole left side of the Texans' offensive line was gone. They were hurt.
Well, not only that, you knew the Texans were going to pass every time because their rushing attack was feeble at best. Duke Johnson, are you kidding me? They rushed for maybe 20 yards the whole game.
Yeah. No, this team has holes. Patriots. They definitely have flaws. They're not perfect. They were a borderline playoff team coming into the year. And I think we overplayed what Cam could have been without really having an offseason here. But that being said, they clearly don't want Jarrett Stidham to be the guy, clearly. And so what are you going to do? You clearly have not had a plan since Jimmy Garoppolo left, and you gave him away for nothing. And now he's probably not going to come back, even though there's talks about that. So, look, this team needs to get a couple weapons, mainly a tight end, unless Asiasi really can play, and let Cam be the quarterback next year, and maybe you draft a guy to sit behind him. But like the next couple years should be the Cam Newton show.
It should, and I wouldn't hate it. But I just
2-3 years of Cam.
I just wish there was more of a long-term plan. But guys,
Jimmy Garoppolo is your long-term plan.
Jimmy Garoppolo could be the long-term plan still.
Yeah.
Couch Guy Sports Podcast, episode number 183 in the books. Nick Quaglia, Al Nahigian, Jared Scali. Guys, we're going to talk to you next week. Maybe there's some news with the Gordon Hayward sign and trade. Maybe not, because at this point, at this rate, who knows? It might not even happen until the start of the season. It might not happen at all because this is taking forever. Maybe it happens before the show comes out and that whole segment then becomes fucking nothing. I don't know. Guys, subscribe on YouTube. Rate and subscribe on iTunes. CouchGuy20 at manscaped.com. All the good stuff. CouchGuySports.com. Amazing website. Not biased here at all. Amazing website. Follow us all on Twitter. And, the Couch Guy Sports Podcast on Twitter as well. Nick Quaglia, Al Nahigian, Jared Scali. Guys, we're going to talk to you next week for episode number 184. We'll talk to you then. Thanks for watching, and thanks for listening.
Have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
If you want. That's your choice.